Hello there, and welcome back to the Agostino Zinga Show with your host, Agostino Zinga, and this is episode number 842. Welcome back to the Agostino Zinga Show, episode number 842 with your host, Agostino Zinga, and I hope you're doing well wherever this lovely live stream may find you. I hope you're doing well wherever this lovely podcast may find you. Thank you for tuning in. It's a pleasure, never a chore. How you doing? How you feeling? Great, amazing, good to know, good to know. So, as some of you may have known, or some of you might have learned, as per my Blockbuster update the other day about my sudden unemployment, right? About my termination from a 3-month flipping contract, right? Absolutely hilarious situation to be in. Kind of hilarious, but not hilarious. Also kind of embarrassing in its own way. But one thing I've been thinking about since I've been kind of meditating, marinating, mulling over that, situation and how it kind of transpired is the feeling. Honestly, I don't know how people can describe it or if others have had the same thing, but because I guess it's been a long time since I've ever felt inadequate because, I've kind of had this very grandiose vision of myself. I sometimes think to myself, I don't know, I sometimes have these very delusions of grandeur thoughts in my head, right? Let's just leave it at that. I won't just bore you with some of the thoughts I have in my head, but sometimes I think very, very highly of myself. So it's also quite nice, I feel like, because I'm always a believer in contrast. I'm always a believer in yin and yang. So I do like the fact that I have this belief in myself in one respect, but then I do like sometimes the universe or people outside of myself having the opposite of impression of me, or the opposite thinking, or the opposite idea, or the opposite view. It's quite nice. It's quite interesting to see that friction occur in real life. So it was quite interesting to see myself be put in a position where I was made to feel in that place because I was doing very badly, clearly, and I wasn't meeting the standards that they needed in terms of closing tickets, in terms of answering tickets, opening tickets, knowledge, all these type of things I was very short on. It was really interesting to see myself being put in a position where I was being ostracized and I was being kind of treated poorly and badly by some of the senior management, I wouldn't say some of my colleagues, so they weren't really my colleagues really, because I'd count my colleagues as the people that I came in with, the 5 interns I sort of like started with, quote unquote, or the 5 people that we started temping together with because it was a temporary position of only 3 months. So those 5 people I was with, they're fucking mint and they know who they are. Or the 4 people I was with, they were incredibly good crew, love them, amazing kids, and they're all gonna smash it. I'm sure out of the 4, probably 3 will get given full-time jobs there, maybe 2, I'm not too sure, but regardless, they're gonna kill it. There was the people who worked there outside of that, who were in my team, who were a little bit, cunty. I'd probably say, let's say 2 or 3 of them were a little bit cunty. And it was really interesting. It was really interesting to see that play out in real time, because I've never been in my day-to-day life, I've never made to feel like I'm inadequate. I don't ever feel inadequate. Any situation I'm in, I always feel like I can kill it in a room. I always feel like I'm able and capable. I always feel like with the right amount of training or right amount of time, information, I can get something quickly. Like I've never ever feel like I'm less than. But in that position, for once in my life, for once in my blood clot life, in that position, I was suddenly starting to feel like, oh, maybe this idea I have of myself isn't really what it's all cracked up to be, right? Maybe I'm kind of maybe I gas myself up a bit too much. Maybe it isn't really what I think it is, That's basically what I was thinking in real time. And it was it was an interesting feeling to play out in real time, to see people treating you weirdly or treating you differently based on you not doing well, perceived, in their perception, you're not doing well in a particular job. And it was also strange to be made to feel like you weren't as smart as everybody else, which maybe was the truth. Even though I feel like that particular role was in a sort of area that I probably was never going to excel in, because it's one of my kind of, it's one of the places in my sort of like education, academic life that I've always struggled. Numbers and statistics and accounting, all that sort of stuff. I've always kind of struggled in that sort of regard. So really and truly, I feel like being the guy that I am, I probably should. And I think I've had the thought for a while, actually. I've had the thought for a very long time. Maybe like, I'm going to say maybe more than maybe more than 10 years, I've had this thought that I should maybe go to Amazon or online and find like books and stuff, or just online courses where I can kind of just sprouse up my mathematics and my, general, math skills and, accounting skills, whatever it may be, just so I have a grip on that sort of stuff. Cause I feel like that's been always a pain point of mine. And I've kind of avoided it by fully jumping into the creative end, right? By being incredibly creative and having all these ideas. I feel like I've done it on purpose to make me get away from the numbers and stuff. But if I ever want to run my own business, if I ever want to own my own home at one point, if I ever want to move country, if I ever want to, I don't know, buy merch or make products, whatever I want to do, I'm going to have a handle on money anyway. You know what I mean? I can't just always be hiring help and get people to, people might fleece you, they might, feg you over and stuff. So I should be kind of trying to fill in that kind of learning gap, that learning kind of blank space that I have. But it was interesting to see that space or that place that I've been avoiding for a while, the thing that I've kind of been neglecting and I've been burying my head in the sand because of the thing that I've been brushing under the carpet, the thing that I've been purposely ignoring, it did come back to bite me in the ass, because I was reminded, oh shit, this is the reason why you shouldn't avoid these type of things. You should maybe attack it head on. Because if I would have attacked it head on, if I would have maybe bought some of those like, autodidact home learning, adult learning books about maths and stuff and accounting and taxes and all this malarkey and finance in general, maybe it would have helped me. Maybe it would have helped me in a position, and maybe I wouldn't have been as, maybe I wouldn't have been as shaky as I was when I was in there. Because I noticed after, like I said in the previous episode, I noticed after the first week I was fucked. And it wasn't just because I was sleeping in training, it's because I was literally sitting there doing my best. And this is probably, and this is, I don't deserve pats on the back for this, but this is probably one of the only jobs I've had in the time that I've had it where I was not late once. I always came with a smile on my face. I was always staying for all the after work things. I think I attended basically every after work gathering that happened there, with the exception of the building's Christmas party that happened on like a Tuesday, which I didn't go to. I don't think anyone in our company went to. I made myself available for all the, extracurricular activities. I rarely used my phone. I'm sure some of you probably saw in my socials, I was rarely on my social at the time. So I really put myself in to learn. And I was sitting there and I'd be like opening my eyes. I'd be having cups of coffee, water. I'd like, have good breakfasts. I'd go to the gym in the morning. I'd sleep pretty well. And I'd be trying my darndest to kind of just soak it in. I remember sitting there after a week just looking at the screen, looking at the whiteboard as the guy was trying to like go through what they were going through, doing the training. And again, I could never fault the company, because there were 5 of us that started this kind of like temporary 3-month position, and the rest of them, the 4, are excelling and doing well. I'm the only one that failed and had to get kicked out. Do you know what I mean? I had to get let go. So clearly I'm the problem. But I remember just sitting there thinking, wow, I've done everything. Like, I've come on time, I'm prepared, I have my notepad, I have my water, I have my coffee, I'm attentive, my eyes are open, I got a big smile on my face, and I just can't, it's just not clicking. It's not it's not working. I'm sitting there trying my hardest and it's just not working. And there was a point in time where I did this other thing too, where I'm ashamed to say I did try and like send, and it wouldn't let me send it because obviously they have some sort of firewall stuff. And I did try to send myself some of the slides that they had that were showing during the training. So they had some of these Google Sheet slides and stuff, and some, assets on like Notion that I could read and understand things on. So I tried to send some of that stuff to myself, so I could just read it in my off time. So I maybe read it before I went to work for an hour and read it after work for an hour. But even then I was like, no, that doesn't make any sense. There's 8 hours of work. I should be able to get it in 8 hours. I shouldn't need an extra hour or 2 hours outside of work to understand what I'm doing. Like, that's ridiculous. So I thought, no, fuck that, leave it. Even though it didn't work anyway. I think a couple of them come through, the other them didn't really come through because they've got some sort of, security setting about sending files out, sending, I guess, company files to an email that isn't the company's, which probably, I don't know if that would have got me in trouble, but I was just trying to learn. That didn't work. So I was like, no, I have to figure it out. I have to figure it out in 8 hours. So I sat there, tried to figure it out, and it just wasn't clicking. It was such a weird feeling, man. Like, it just wasn't clicking. And I think the only kind of conclusion I can come away from with this sort of thing is like, you have to address your pain points. You have to address your weaknesses. It's almost like a footballer, right? You avoid practicing on your left foot because your right foot is so good. but there might be an occasion for your team, whether it's a chance that you need to score to keep you in the league, a chance you need to score to get you to the final, a chance you need to score to basically ease the pressure on the manager that's under pressure, a chance you need to score to win a trophy. But there'll be an occasion where all the time that you use your right foot, there'll be a time where you have a chance on your left foot. And if you don't practice on your left foot, that chance that you get, you're going to fluff it. So I think that's what I got. I got that sort of like karmic retribution in that I never wanted to address my pain points and my lack of understanding or, you know, ability to get maths and stuff for a long time. And in the end, it ended up kicking me in the butt or biting me in the ass many years later. You know, it ended up many years later kind of biting me in the ass. So it's something that I've definitely have to take heed on, and definitely something I need to address and kind of go back to the drawing board and make sure that I plug in that kind of that gap, because it's something that's been affecting me for the longest time. Like even with little things like, you know, I'm in a store buying things and I'll pull out my fucking calculator to add up the most minor of things, you know, to subtract the minus of things, to think of, you know, to figure out the minus of fractions, the minus of percentages. Like it's not good. You know what I mean? Because of my lack of maths, just I don't even try and activate it. I'll just straight away go to my phone. I'll straight away go to Google. I'll straight away go to ChatGTP to solve these math problems I should be able to answer pretty quickly. Do you know what I mean? But I'm not really figuring it in my head quickly. So I think that ended up kind of biting me in the ass, unfortunately. And yeah, man, as I said, it's obviously a good thing long term, but there's no denying it is pretty shameful. It is pretty embarrassing to be, you know, getting let go from a 3-month role after the first month because they can't literally trust you to go into the second month and work from home. Is a bit mad. But I also have to say, the treatment I got towards the end, bro, God almighty, man, they were treating me like I was really the black sheep. Like my card was marked. I think some people in that office probably knew I was going to get let go probably a week before it happened. Do you know what I mean? Because they were not really trying to give me any fucking love, really rarely even looking at me when I asked them a question, took it to me with mad disrespect and stuff, like I'm mumbling underneath their breath, just being very obtuse, very kind of standoffish. One of the managers, we went to a dinner once, right? We went to a dinner before I left, right? This is one of the maddest things. We went to a dinner. We had this dinner we had because the team from Spain came over, and they took them to dinner. So we went and joined, right? It was like a lunch dinner thing. We went to this place, and at the dinner, I unluckily was on the table where it was just the Spanish people, a lot of them there, and they didn't really speak that much English. And one of the managers from my team, and that was it. So just me and him and the Spanish people. And I swear to God, he did not speak to me once properly throughout the whole entire time we were there. And obviously they couldn't really speak to me, the Spanish people, because they couldn't speak that much English. But he didn't really speak to me once the entire time. And I was thinking, hold on, should I make an effort and try and like join in with this conversation? Like, nah, fuck this. I know what's going on. So I just sat down on my phone the whole time. The food came at 8. I just sat down on my phone, looked into the distance for an hour, and then when it was over, stood up and went, you know? And imagine that happening where people are like not talking to you at that company meeting. So it's probably for the best. It's probably for the best they ended, because, you know, there was meant to be a Christmas dinner happening soon. Imagine going to a Christmas party with your, like, imagine going to a Christmas party knowing full well the week after you're probably going to get let go. You know, that's a mad place to be at. So probably for the best that it worked out the way it did. And yeah, man, what can you do? It is what it is. It is what it is. Let's get into the show. First things first, bang your doors to Luigi Mangione. Unfortunately, he's now been charged. I said previously in another episode of the show that he hadn't been charged. I think, first of all, what happened, if I remember correctly, they arrested him outside of a... They arrested him outside of a... or inside of a McDonald's. They arrested him inside of a McDonald's. But they didn't charge him with a murder. They just charged him with having, you know, false papers and fake ID and the gun and stuff. But I guess now, since they've questioned him, they finally have charged him with the murder of the United, or whatever, that healthcare insurance company CEO guy that he shot in New York. So this is courtesy of BBC. Luigi Mangione charged with murdering healthcare CEO in New York. A 26-year-old man has been charged with the murder of the last week's fatal shooting of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Luigi Mangione was taken into custody at a McDonald's in the town of Altoona, Pennsylvania on Monday after a customer at the fast food outlet recognized him. An Ivy League graduate from a prominent Maryland family, he was found in the possession of a gun and a handwritten document that expressed his ill will towards corporate America, according to police. People who knew him told US media he suffered from partial back injury and that he had become socially withdrawn in recent months. Mr. Thompson, 50, was fatally shot in the back last Wednesday morning outside a Hilton hotel in Midtown Manhattan, where United Healthcare, the medical insurance giant he led, was holding an investor meeting. Police say he was targeted in a pre-planned killing. Mr. Mangione initially appeared in Pennsylvania court on Monday, charged with possession of an unlicensed firearm and other charges. He was handcuffed at the wrists and ankles and seemed calm during the hearing, occasionally looking around at those present, including the media. Just hours later, New York investigations charged him with murder and 4 other counts of including firearm charges. Last week's shooting triggered a manhunt in New York City, investigators using one of the world's largest digital surveillance systems, as well as police dogs, drones and divers in Central Park Lake to search for an attacker. Bruh, they absolutely used every resource possible to them to catch this kid, innit? God almighty, bro. So I guess what, the world's largest, so does New York City have the world's largest surveillance system? I thought it was China. Investigators revealed that finding Mangione was a complete surprise, as they did not have his name on the list of suspects before Monday. It was ultimately Miss McDonald's customer in Altoon that recognized the suspect from media coverage, alerted an employee who then took to the police. When police arrived, Mangione showed them a fake New Jersey driving license with the name Mark Rosario. The court says the search for his backpack uncovered what police called a ghost gun, which would have been a 3D printed and loaded magazine with 6 9mm ammunition. Prosecutors have said he was also carrying a US passport and $10,000 in cash, 2,000 of it in foreign currency, though Mangione disputed the amount in court. Okay, cool. So he had some foreign currency with him, so he was maybe trying to leave as well. He didn't plan it so well, but he was maybe trying to run. The 3-page document found in possession. Officials believe that there could have been a reference to what critics call the 3Ds of insurance, tactics used by insurance companies to reject payment claims from patients in America. Early in the day, New York Police Chief Jessica Tisk said that the weapon and suppressor seized by investigators of suspects were both consistent with the weapon used in the murder of Mrs. Thompson. Mr. Mangione is now expected to be presented in the option to waiving his extradition of the state of New York or contesting it. Different US states have different laws and judicial systems, so there's different processes involved. Mr. Mangione's family said that they were shocked and devastated by his arrest and offered their prayers to the family of Mr. Thompson. His parental grandparents, Nicholas and Mary Mangione, were real estate developers who purchased Turf Valley Country Club in 1978 and Hayfield Country Club in 1986. One of his cousins is a Republican Maryland state legislator. As a teenager, Mangione attended a private school in Maryland, where he was a class valedictorian, a title usually awarded to students with the best grades. He graduated University of Pennsylvania and Ivy League College. His LinkedIn account says he worked as a data engineer in California. True Car website for car buyers confirmed that he had been employed there but left in 2023. Mangione spent time co-living surfing community in Hawaii called Surf Break. Jesus Christ. Sarah Newman, who knew him, told CBS that she was left shocked that he left due to his back injury, which worsened when he surfed. Several posts on his account, formerly Twitter, appeared to belong to a stranger, suggest that his friends trying to reach him, with one person posting in October, nobody has heard from me in months. So clearly, like, not somebody you have on a watch list. Everything was perfect in his life, bro. He has a family that clearly were quite well off, right? So they got county clubs, country clubs. His cousin is a Republican Maryland state legislator. He went to a really good private school. He went to the best, Ivy League colleges in the United States. You know what they do. And if you pay that kind of money, you get into those kind of places, they kind of set you up for life and give you contacts and networks that you probably will never have access to. If you didn't go to those colleges, works at startups, started his own startup, is able to go to his different surf communities in Hawaii, which I'm also assuming isn't cheap. So this kid is not someone that you would expect would be doing something like this, but circumstances in life, man. I remember someone saying the same thing to me about homelessness. I think someone said that to me about homelessness. I forgot what debate I was having about somebody. I think I might say something very flippant about homeless people and stuff. And somebody basically says something along the lines of like, nah, man, like, we are all not too far away from being homeless. Like, it doesn't take much for you to lose everything and for you to kind of spiral and end up in a position where you're, maybe on drugs, you're maybe homeless, you're maybe downtrodden, things are going really bad. It doesn't take much. It really doesn't. People kind of overestimate how much it takes, and people underestimate how quickly their life can change if one or two things start to go wrong. So this kid, by all accounts, I think I read another account that said one of his grandparents died, and allegedly had something to do with the insurance. Like if the insurance was able to be paid out, it might have been able to save them. So imagine if he had that resentment, and he's Italian, so you'd imagine he's pretty close to his grandparents, so they pass away. Then he gets his own injury, and he's unable to get the, you pay for the insurance every month. Then when you try and claim, you don't get it, and then maybe you then are relying on pain pills, whatever. You spiral into that sort of addiction, and you end up building this resentment against, the healthcare system, especially nowadays in the United States. I think the same thing in the UK. United States, I think, again, I'm not too politically aware, but from what I've been able to observe, I don't think many or either candidates, in terms of Trump or in terms of Biden or in terms of Kamala Harris, I don't think either person spoke that much about healthcare, spoke that much about, changing it or reinvigorating it or tearing it down or starting again, whatever. So imagine if you're going through what you're going through, and you're hearing these political debates, and they're not really talking about the issues that are really affecting everyday Americans across the socioeconomical, lines and stuff. You're gonna get really, really pissed off, really, really angry. You're gonna feel like nobody's listening, no one cares about what you're going through. You decide, I'm going to take matters into my own hands. So I could definitely see how this kind of went the way it went, but it's just a shame. He was given everything. He had a life that you would seem to be perfect on paper, and essentially he's thrown away his entire life off the back of this one shooting. But it is also pretty interesting to see the amount of outpouring of support he's getting on social media. Yes, a lot of it has to do with like how good looking he is, but I think a lot of it has to do with people also feeling the same. There's a lot of people out there who are feeling disenfranchised, who are feeling left out, who are feeling disregarded, who are feeling overlooked, ignored. And they look at this kid and they think, what, well on you, mate. Good on you. So I'm pretty sure this kid's books are going to be filled. I'm sure he's not going to be short of money. He's going to have, inundated with press fucking opportunities and shit. So yeah, man, it's pretty crazy. But there's another video somebody posted here, courtesy of Ken Klippenstein. Luigi Mangione on his introduction hearing shouts, "This is completely out of touch and an insult to intelligent American people." So this is after obviously he got charged and he's in the orange suit. So this is Luigi Mangione screaming at the press outside. And again, like I said earlier on social, I think this guy is a one-man content machine, mate. He's a one-man content machine. Yeah, free Luigi, man. Free Luigi. Look at all the cops around. Free Luigi. Cool, man. So Luigi's out here going absolutely nuts. And yeah, man, I don't know what he's looking at in terms of time limits or prison sentences. I'm assuming it's going to be pretty high given what's occurred, especially considering it's a CEO that got murked. So most likely they're going to put pressure, you'd imagine, in terms of wanting to send a message and to make sure no other people get any ideas or thoughts in their heads about murking other CEOs who they feel like are responsible for some of the pain and suffering that they're going through. You could imagine that to be the case. But yeah, man, what an absolutely mad situation. It's just unfortunate that he didn't put as much thinking into the shooting as into the getaway. Maybe he actually did want to get caught in the first place, but it's a shame he didn't put as much thinking into the getaway as he did with the shooting, because it seemed like he planned the shooting down to the minute detail. I'm still not all that aware of how he was able to get a hold of that guy's itinerary or schedule or contact list or diary. Maybe it was pretty easy if you think about it. Maybe if he kind of posed as some sort of college student, went to get an interview with the guy, maybe he got friendly with the PA or the assistant, is able to give him a bit of insight into what he does, what his schedule is like daily. But the fact he was able to track the guy in the morning, get at him at that time in the morning where there's no one really around, not a lot of eyewitnesses, cover himself up, avoid a lot of cameras, and get to as far as he got to. It was a shame he didn't really put as much effort into trying to actually physically get away, like properly, because you never know, he might have been able to, especially considering standard looking white boy. He could have cut his hair off, dyed his hair another color, and maybe it would have been all flipping rosy. You never flipping know. And here's a picture of him actually, his mugshot here. People are still going crazy for him on the timeline, especially some of the gays and the girlies. They're absolutely going goo goo gaga over Luigi Mangione. They're absolutely going crazy for him. So you can definitely imagine there being a Netflix documentary about him coming up very soon, maybe a feature-length movie. There for sure is going to be a massive, crazy podcast series about him. You just know that's going to happen. Serial-esque type of thing is going to happen very soon. But yeah, man, it's pretty crazy situation, all things considered, especially when you consider some of the testimonies for his friends. All his friends are basically saying the same thing. All these friends are basically saying the same thing. They didn't expect it, absolutely completely surprised. He was never that kid in school, kind of well-to-do, straight-laced. They're all shocked. They're all absolutely shocked that this happened. So clearly he had some sort of break. I think some people were able to kind of trace it through his Twitter and see that there was clearly a point where something happened and he just kind of, his brain kind of broke a little bit and he went kind of crazy in a weird way. So it might have been tied in with a back injury that occurred that kind of affected him. I think I read another report that said it affected his dating life, allegedly, being a good looking guy. He was out there doing what he was doing in the streets, and allegedly the back injury really fucked up his dating life, messed up his ability to go to the gym, hang out with his friends and stuff, and just, fucked up his life essentially. And it kind of sent him to a spiral, which might have explained why he hadn't kept in contact with his friends. His friends and family hadn't heard from him allegedly in like a year. So imagine the next time you see a relative, you haven't seen them in a year, and the next time you see them, they're on TV. Allegedly, they fucking murdered the fucking CEO of a healthcare system or a health insurance company. Absolutely crazy. But we do have here an exclusive courtesy of Ken Klippenstein regarding the manifesto that the kid wrote. Allegedly, this is the manifesto that he had in his backpack. So I'm going to read it to you here so you can get an idea on what this kid was thinking in his brain before he shot the guy. So this is a manifesto, allegedly. It says as follows. To the feds, I'll keep this short, because I do respect what you do for our country. To save you a lengthy investigation, I state plainly that I wasn't working with anyone. This was fairly trivial, some elementary social engineering, basic CAD, and a lot of patience. Okay. So he's basically saying that's how he was able to get details of the guy's whereabouts. So probably he called up the United Healthcare System phone line, maybe posed as his son, maybe posed as Brian Thompson's son, Brian Thompson's relative. We want to throw him a special surprise birthday. We don't know what time he's going to be there. They're able to give his details or his itinerary and his schedule over the phone. That's basically what he did. And obviously basic CAD to 3D print the gun. The spiral notebook, if present, has some strangly notes and a to-do list that illuminate the gist of it. My tech is pretty locked down because I work in engineering, so probably not much info there. I do apologize for any strife of traumas, but it had to be done. Frankly, these parasites simply had it coming. A reminder, the US has the #1 most expensive healthcare system in the world, yet we rank roughly 42 in life expectancy. United is the largest company in the US market. The United Healthcare, I guess, is the largest company in the US by market cap, behind only Apple, Google, and Walmart. It has grown and grown, but as our life expectancy, no. The reality is these companies have gotten too powerful and they continue to abuse our country for immense profit because the American public has allowed them to get away with it. Obviously the problem is more complex, but I do not have space and I frankly do not pretend to be the most qualified person to lay out the full argument, but many have illuminated the corruption and greed, e.g. Rosenthal and more, decades ago, and the problems simply remain. It is not an issue of awareness at this point, but clearly a power game at play. Evidently, I'm the first to face it with such brutal honesty. Shit. Not gonna lie, everything he said there was true, innit? Everything he said there was true. He's spitting. Everything he said there was true. That point he made there. A reminder, the USA is the #1 most expensive healthcare system in the world, yet we rank roughly 42 in life expectancy. He's spitting. He is fucking spitting. These companies, they rake in all the cash. The US people, especially people in the US, you pay a lot of money for it, but then you don't get much out of it. And then when you need them, that's the thing that people are saying online. I think someone said it the other day on the Random Show. when you need these companies, so you pay all this money monthly for this cover, but then when you need them, they go completely missing. When you need them and you finally need to kind of, you know, take out those claims, you kind of need to claim them, you kind of need the help to help you with the surgery, the medication, the aftercare, the physiotherapy, the mental health thing, psychiatry, whatever it may be, suddenly they come wanting. And allegedly there's some of these companies that I read somewhere where they said that they are meant to reject you 3 times. Allegedly, that's a rule in most healthcare insurance companies, where if you reject somebody 3 times, it dissuades them, and they usually never come back a 4th time. That's usually the plan. So you try and say no over a course of like 12 months or something. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine how much that must have fucked up his entire life, especially off the back of already having issues with the healthcare system? And this is somebody who's affluent too, by the way. Let's keep that in mind. This is a kid who's affluent. This is not a kid who's from the projects. You know what I mean? This is an affluent kid, and he's feeling the way he's feeling. Now imagine the people who are actually downtrodden and are struggling and aren't as affluent. Imagine how they're coping. Imagine how they're feeling. You know, if it's affecting people who have money this way, imagine everybody else in America. Absolutely crazy. And again, the debates I've seen with the presidential candidates, Trump, anybody, no one really spoke about healthcare. No one really spoke about healthcare, not in a really serious way. So you can imagine the resentment and the anger he must have felt. So Jesus, man, that manifesto was short but sweet. Short but bloody sweet. And obviously Bill Burr also made a good point about the situation here. Bill Burr made a good point here, courtesy of his Monday morning podcast. Let's play what Bill Burr had to say about the killer and about most of the public, most of the mainstream media ignoring the fact that the public have got this kid's back.
You know what's annoying me about this kid who killed this CEO is none of these news programs are talking about the incredible lack of empathy from the general public about this because of how these insurance companies treat people when they are at their most vulnerable, after we've all given them our money every fucking month, and now we finally need you, and all you do is deny us. And then these pussies and all of these things are taking the pictures of their CEOs off their websites. You know, I got to be honest with you, okay? I love that fucking CEOs are fucking afraid right now. You should be. By and large, you're all a bunch of selfish, greedy fucking pieces of shit, and a lot of you are mass murderers. You just don't pull the trigger. That's why it looks clean. That's why these people look, oh my God, oh, he was just, you know, walking into a hotel. It's like, okay, but what was his job? What did he do? What was the results of it?
Exactly. Big up fucking Bill Burr. This is also another reminder of why we need Bill Burr on Joe Rogan ASAP. It's not going to happen anytime soon, it feels like, because, you know, they're probably at different stages of their life. Maybe as well, I think Bill Burr's also conscious that he's very different from his friends, I feel like, in how he, you know, politically and socially, how he views the world. So maybe he's a bit more nuanced in his thinking. He doesn't see things as always black and white and good versus bad and whatever, and red is good, blue is bad type of thing. So maybe because of that, he also values his friendship. So he would probably rather not get into a heated debate with his friends about politics and society, which would then ruin the friendships. You know what I mean? So that's why probably he avoids going on some shows, because he knows what it'll turn into. Because if he went on, it was already tetchy when he went on Rogan recently, which was maybe a couple years ago, maybe 3 years ago. Could you imagine how much tetchy it's going to be? How much more tetchy it will be if he goes on now, with Bill Burr being a little bit more, I guess, having a bit more of a blue tint when it comes to viewing the world. Dare I say, being a bit more quote unquote woke, being a little bit more chill. He's not as ranty and angry as he once was, but he also is a bit more calm and measured. And Rogan being clearly, you know, on the other side in terms of his political views, and definitely being more of a ardent Trumper and definitely sitting in the right wing seat. I think that episode, although it'll be good for us to view, I don't think it'll be good for their relationship or friendship. So it's probably a good thing that Bill Burr is staying away from Rogan. It makes a lot of sense. But Bill Burr is spitting there. Bill Burr is absolutely spitting. And then we got this post here. Big up this user on Twitter called Vittorio. Their username is Ita Intellectualist, right? Ita Intellectualist. So big up at them, and I guess I would recommend you check them out as well, because this summary or this roundup of Luigi Mangione and what may have transpired for him to turn out the way he did is really, really on point. So let's read this guy's roundup, or this person's roundup, in how they kind of see how the Luigi Mangione situation played out. So let me read it for you here. I haven't slept. B. Luigi Nicholas Mangione, born 1998 in Maryland. Family is loaded. Grandfather built golf resorts and luxury clubs. Grows up in towns, goes to elite private schools, Gilliam, 40K a year tuition, but worth every penny. He's a valedictorian in 2016. His classmates describe him as inventive, courageous, and charming. He's an Ivy League material. He gets into UPenn. He studies computer science and math. He majors in philosophy, red flag maybe. He co-founds a game development club. He works on AI competitions. He's a perfect Chad, handsome, athletic, and ambitious. He graduates in 2020 with a BS and MS combo. Dream life has been unlocked. Lands a data engineering job at TrueCar and moves to San Francisco. So far, that first part of the story of Luigi Mangione sounds fucking perfect, right? Luigi Nicholas Mangione has the perfect start in life. He's kind of set in terms of having a, the American dream, white picket fence, 2 kids and a dog type of thing. It continues. 2021, cracks start to form. He gets into a surfing accident while on vacation in Hawaii. Chronic lower back CLBP becomes his entire personality. He can't work out, can't sit, can't live like a normal Chad anymore. He goes through the healthcare system, hellscape. Insurance denies the surgery. He spends on specialists, treatments fail, pain keeps getting worse, resentment grows, starts ranting about parasites, healthcare executives. That's all it takes. One incident is all it takes to turn this kid's life that started off perfectly well liked by his classmates, not an insult by any way, shape or form, maybe clearly swimming in, fellas, swimming in boozy, swimming in pussy, like swimming in it, just living a great life, everything's planned out for him. Then one freak surfing accident, he gets into the healthcare system, or he gets through that, he tries to navigate through it, and it completely breaks him. Continues. Gets weirdly into niche books. Crooked Outwitting the Back Pain Industry, Back Mechanic by Stuart McGill, Ted Kaczynski's Industrial Society and Its Future, 4 stars on Goodreads. He posts about banning porn online, toxic masculinity is under attack. He follows Erowid, explores the psychedelics of self-healing, and tweets get spicier, but no one pays much attention. That's another thing I heard someone mention too. There's been a big movement, it feels like. There's been a massive movement against people in startup industry advising against ayahuasca. I'm not sure if you guys have seen it. I've seen a bunch of startup people who I like to follow who have been very anti-ayahuasca. A lot of these guys are saying guys are going to these ayahuasca retreats and they're kind of abusing these drugs, these psychedelics, and they're coming back completely different people. And some of them are having schizophrenic breaks. They're completely broken. They completely change into other people. The drive disappears. They become very stuck in head in the clouds, wherever it may be. So a bunch of people are advising startup founders, if they're having a bit of a mental block, they may be needing inspiration, not to go the ayahuasca route, which was also a thing that everyone done. I remember I wanted to do that at one point. There was one point I wanted to go to an ayahuasca retreat in Chile and somewhere deep in the mountains of South America and shit, Central America, and do it properly. That was all the time where I went to do silent retreats, when I was really into the whole self-actualization, that whole kind of movement. Kevin Rose, Tim Ferriss, the fucking Wim Hof guy. I was deep into that sort of world. I kind of stopped going into that thing anymore. But yeah, man, the ayahuasca has been very, very much discouraged. Everyone's kind of going against it. So people are saying maybe the ayahuasca may be a bit of an issue. It continues here. 2022. He goes on an ayahuasca retreat, desperate for relief, looking for answers beyond medicine. He claims he saw God during the trip, but also fought off shadowy entities. He describes these 60 demons trying to implant ideas into his mind. He later tweets cryptic things like, "Not all pain is physical. They feed on fear, but you can push them back if you see their shape. Healthcare is only part of the cage." Friends think he's having a spiritual awakening, but vibe gets darker. He deletes most of his old tweets. He only posts sporadically after this. By 2023, he's fully withdrawn, but something about him seems different. Doesn't talk about demons anymore, like the memory was scrubbed. Fucking hell, bro. 2023, leaves TrueCar, moves to Hawaii permanently, broke, desperate, Broke, depressed, living off savings, spiraling quietly, he becomes a ghost online. Posts less, deletes a lot of old tweets, but what's left feels curated, too on brand, weird foreshadowing. December 4th, 2024, United Healthcare Brian Thompson assassinated, shot outside Hilton Hotel in broad daylight. December 9th, Luigi Mangione arrested in Altoona, Pennsylvania, found with 3D printed ghost gun, 0 serial number, spooky tech vibes, silencer, fake IDs, plural Y, handwritten manifesto blaming healthcare executives for killing America. Here's where it gets weird. The manifesto. He calls CEO parasites and powerful abusers, apologizes for any trauma caused, but says this had to happen. Specifically names United Healthcare as the enemy of the people, but it reads like something out of a Hollywood movie. Too polished, too coherent for a supposed back pain-ridden maniac. No spelling errors, perfect grammar, emotional yet calculated, sus. So what people trying to say? They're trying to say he got planted, trying to say he got framed. Timeline doesn't add up. Luigi's last known address was Hawaii. How does he suddenly turn up in New York City? Unless a fake ID to check into a hotel near the crime scene. Now how convenient. He goes from Hawaii to NYC to Pennsylvania in a matter of days. Gets caught at McDonald's after a nationwide manhunt. Really? Ghost gun raises red flags. Why would a guy like Luigi, Ivy grad, tech savvy, spotless record, print a gun? Ghost guns are perfect deep state props, untraceable, terrifying buzzword V. Feels like a setup to push the DIY domestic terrorism narrative. His social media suddenly blows up. Goodreads reviews of Texas Jinsky go viral. The tweets about healthcare, pawns to resurface, painting him as a radical genius. But the timing feels off, like it was meant to create this image. Friends and family shocked. He was a good kid, never showed signs of violence, always so bright. Doesn't fit the profile of a guy who would snap and assassinate a CEO. It's a psyop. Luigi is the perfect recruit. Ivy League pedigree equals media catnip. Relatable to both elites and normies. Chronic pain equals universal sympathy. Emotional hook for the masses. Anti-healthcare sentiment equals taps into the leftist rage against the capitalism. Manosphere vibes equals taints the right with toxic masculinity optics. Erowid plus psychedelics equals the MK Ultra callback, easy to manipulate mindset. The 6D demon fight was part of the setup. The ayahuasca trip wasn't self-healing. It was an astral battleground. CIA or any other deep state group planted the entities to break his spiritual defenses. They didn't want just to brainwash him. They wanted to hollow him out completely. The fight left cracks in his psyche, making him easier to manipulate afterwards. His cryptic tweets, they feed on fear, were cries to help before they really fully got to him. By the time of the CEO murder, he's fully under their control. Either the demons broke him or the deep state leveraged the battle to finalize his reprogramming. The actual hit, not Luigi's doing. CIA or Mossad carried out the assassination. Silencer scream pro job. Luigi's memories implanted to make him feel like the fall guy. Ghost gun planted as evidence to tie him to the crime. Whoa, this guy is spitting. What? This conspiracy could be true. I'm falling for this, mate. I'm falling for this. Why this psyop now? Because right v left is collapsing. Trump united Silicon Valley libertarians, populist unions, and VC bros. Woke politics were dying, and no one cared about identity politics anymore. Deep state needed a new cultural fracture to maintain control. Solution: a class war. Kill a CEO, blame a relatable radical, watch the chaos unfold. Left: Luigi's a hero fighting corporate greed. Right: he's a manosphere nutjob demonizing capitalism. The coalition fractures, rich v poor takes center stage. Yo, deeper goal: scare Silicon Valley VCs into compliance. Don't back anti-establishment movements. Pit labor unions against and working class populists against tech elites. Distract from actual healthcare corruption with calls for more surveillance. But the cracks are obvious. Manifesto reads like a marketing pitch for a class war. Too perfect. How does a supposed radical assassin not have an escape plan? That's what I was saying earlier. That's what I was saying. Something doesn't add up. What's going on? Oh, I'm falling into this. I'm believing this, man. I'm believing this fully. Ghost Gun is too convenient. Like it was meant to terrify the normies. Social media timeline feels curated. Where's the raw, messy history? Good point. The psyop isn't just about Luigi. It's about sending a message. We control the narrative. We can't turn anyone into a villain or a hero. Don't question the system, or this could be you. Luigi didn't kill Brian Thompson. The deep state did. 3 out of 10 psyop, lazy execution, but it's working. Don't fall for it. Anon. I don't know, man. I think I'm buying into this, bro. I think I'm buying into this. I think it might be free Luigi until it's backwards, bro. I think it might be free Luigi until it's backwards. I think we might have to be screaming free Luigi until it's fucking backwards. Because wow, that guy laid it down, laid it out perfectly. Absolutely spitting. Every single bit of that was pure and utter spit. I loved it. I loved every single minute of it. So free Luigi, free Luigi. It continues. So let's talk about this post here. Actually, let's talk about this post. So I've been speaking a lot about Lilly Phillips, right? The girl on OnlyFans who posts herself smashing a bunch of dudes, records it, and is trying to go for records. And she also works with this other girl called Blue something, I forgot her name, but they're these two very popular OF creators who have been known for this content where it's kind of, you know, it's kind of a bit jarring to see, but essentially they ask, you know, they put out these calls for randoms to come and fuck, and they queue outside of these Airbnbs, and they all take turns to fuck. And the idea behind it is that they both want to rack up as many numbers as possible. This particular girl, Lilly Phillips, had a plan to do 1,000, but I haven't actually seen any update on this. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if she's like hesitant on the plan, but I remember her mentioning ages ago there was also a bit of marketing around it. I saw a trailer video type of thing out there. I saw people talking about social media, but it's gone kind of quiet since then. But she did want to do a new record of trying to fuck 1,000 random guys in one day. And from what I might understand as well, the mechanics of it was like, in this particular one, it had to be a ticketed event, which I thought was weird because that would almost make it prostitution. I think the way that they kind of avoided not being, you know, in trouble and shit was because it was just like a free up and call, and the idea behind it was that they was exchanging whatever they were exchanging for like content. So the idea behind it was that they'll blur out your face or make you wear a mask, but in exchange for her letting you fuck, she gets to use the content to put on her OnlyFans, and then I'm guessing that drives subscriptions and whatever it may be. But the 1,000 event, it was ticketed, so that would make it weird. And it was also an application process type of thing as well. So I don't know what happened there. But anyway, I haven't seen much about it. But there is a documentary about her, which I'm probably going to react to or probably going to watch live and do that later on. But it's by this guy called Geoff Pieters. And he's got this documentary that's called I Slept With 100 Men in One Day documentary. It's about her, I'm assuming, and other people too. So I'm definitely going to go check it out. But there's a clip about the documentary that's going viral. And the clip here, the title is Moments After Lilly Phillips Had Slept 100 Men in One Day. Let's actually watch this clip. This is a clip from the documentary, I'm assuming, courtesy of Josh Pieters, but I'm definitely going to watch the full one. But let's see what Lilly Phillips is saying, because it's been a long time since I've checked in on Lilly Phillips to see what I'll go on for her life. So let's see. This is Lilly Phillips after fucking 100 guys in one day.
When was the last time you ate?
I think I had a yum yum, and I think I had a sandwich, and that was kind of, and then the rest. It's not for the weak, girls, if I'm honest. It was hard. I don't know if I'd recommend it.
Why not?
I think if you're a different type of girl, it's very like, it's kind of like being a prostitute in a sense of like,
Kinda.
it's just a different
Kinda.
feeling. I don't know how to explain it, like.
Kinda.
It's not like just having sex with someone.
Yeah. Just one in, one out, like it feels intense.
Like more intense than you thought it might.
Definitely.
She's gonna cry. Wow. She's about to cry. She was about to cry there. Shit. I don't think I've ever seen this version of Lilly Phillips. I don't think I've ever seen this version of her where she seems emotional and almost she almost seems a little bit Like she's starting to regret her life choices. Because I think in the earlier videos, some of the kind of, maybe I'm just a dirtbag, but I kind of like that people like this exist. Of course, you know, not for me, not something I'd be interested in, but I do like that there are people who live their lives this way, like people who live an alternative lifestyle to you and I, straight-laced people, normal people, you know, fucking missionary people, you know, just boring vanilla people. There are people out there who live this way. There are, who enjoy what they're doing. But maybe this is also proof that when it comes to smashing randoms, when it comes to whatever the word is for fucking one night stands, I forgot the actual technical term for it, but when it comes to that sort of stuff, it seems like women have a much harder time dealing with it than men. I think you could find a guy who did the exact same thing that she did, who wouldn't, you know, he wouldn't skip a heartbeat. He's not regretting nothing. He's on his way to go pick up his kids. He's walking his dog. He's maybe sleeping after, pretty fine, waking up pretty fine. Everything's completely normal. Like it doesn't bother him in the slightest. But I think there is something, and I don't know. I wonder if it's because of I don't know if this makes sense, but I wonder if it's because of the function of it itself. I wonder if it's because of the function of you being a woman and having something kind of, for lack of a better term, inserted in you. It just makes the experience of sex a bit different than what men do. Because maybe if you're a guy and you're the one doing the pounding, it's a little bit easier maybe to deal with mentally. But when you're a woman and you're allowing these random dudes to, even if they're wearing protection, to basically bust in you, that's a lot of, like, for lack of a better term again, you know, soul ties. There's a lot of like spirits and stuff that you're letting in. There's a lot of like weird energy that you're kind of letting consume you and be a part of you. You know what I mean? It's just, and you know, a woman's kind of it's a lot more precious. A woman's, you know, thing. It's a bit more precious than I think a guy's thing. So maybe this is the reason why she's having such a weird, hard time kind of coming to grips with it and figuring out what's working, maybe, or why it's kind of feeling odd. Because I remember earlier videos, you know, I've covered this girl and her friend on the podcast from the beginning of when I saw them go viral on social, and she was very bubbly, very cocksure, very kind of almost, I won't say arrogant, but very like, you know, this is what I'm doing, and kind of enjoying the fact that it freaks people out, taking pleasure in how much people are getting fucking outraged by it. But now in this documentary, it seems like she's really kind of not regretting, but almost like she's a little bit like troubled by what she's put herself through. And now it's starting to make me think this is probably the reason why we haven't seen anything about the 1000. Because look at her eyes. Yes, her eyes might be that color because, you know, she's been bust all over and shit. But it might be also because she's about to cry. And look at the amount of coleslaws and stuff she's got around her lips. Her skin also looks a little bit crazy. Like, it makes sense, doesn't it? It makes pretty sense that she's got loads of fucking spots and ulcers all around her lips. You know, it's crazy. Eyes are always red. So I wonder if this is the reason why we haven't seen an update on her saying she wants to smash 1000 randoms for some ticket event. We haven't seen that update yet. So this might be the reason why. Because maybe after she smashed the 100 and she did more interviews, and I think maybe the problem is the interviews too. Sitting down with somebody for a proper interview for a documentary, and they're asking you like reasonable questions, and they're actually trying to dig in deeper to find out more about you. You're now starting to think more about what you're doing. Maybe when you're on autopilot, you don't really think about it, but now that she's thinking about it way more, it's starting to affect her a little bit, and she's starting to think, oh shit, this maybe isn't what I should be doing with my life long term, you know? Maybe. But I'm a bit disappointed because it also proves that maybe that person who I think of in my head doesn't really exist. Like, I would love there to be, because it's not me personally, but I would love there to be somebody who is like this in real life, who actually doesn't mind having a million sexual partners, who's incredibly promiscuous, who's out in the streets every single day, doing what there needs to be done, living that kind of quote-unquote rock style lifestyle, whatever it may be, you know, sucking and fucking everything that moves, going to a ton of sex parties and having a ton of sex partners and being okay with it. I'm sure they do exist, but this is maybe proof that those people are in a very small minority, because when you really do it the way that she's been doing it and her friends have been doing it, when you're kind of really doing the numbers and you're doing 100 a day and trying to do 1,000 and stuff, you quickly realize whether or not you're that girl or not. And maybe she's realized, you know what, maybe I'm not really about that life as much as I thought I was. But yeah, you know, more power to Lilly Phillips and the other girl, Blue something, whatever her name is. More power to this guy who did this documentary, because it seems like he might have helped to kind of maybe get her out of this lifestyle in a weird way, or maybe make her kind of take a bit of a break and chill out a bit and take her foot off the pedal and not be so crazy. But yeah, man, let's see how it plays out. But this might explain why we haven't seen the 1000th episode, because it seems like she's going a little bit cuckoo off the back of having so much sex with these randoms. But I'm definitely going to check out his documentary. It's available, I think, on YouTube. That's what the full doc is called. I Slept with 100 Men in One Day. There's also an uncensored Patreon version available as well. So definitely check out this guy's account. His name is Josh Pieters. I see he does a lot of documentaries and YouTube videos online, so definitely check him out. I'm definitely gonna respond or kind of react to it and do a full reaction on my YouTube sometime soon as well. To keep an eye on that when I eventually end up doing that. Keep an eye on that when I eventually end up doing that. Okay, cool. Coming up, big drop this weekend for Supreme on Thursday. Big drop. Supreme box logos are back again. This is going to be a massive one, because there's a bunch of colorways here that people haven't seen in a while. There's the really hyped colorway in the pink one. There's a gray one that's coming back for a long time. Navy with the red box logo is also coming back. So it's going to be a big time for Supreme fans, myself included, to try and get a box logo hoodie this Thursday. So fingers crossed I am one of them. This is courtesy of Supreme Drops. Big up Supreme Drops. Their Twitter account is drops.gg. Definitely check them out. The caption says, this week Supreme is releasing its traditional fall winter box logo hoodies in a new range of colors. This time they've chosen several classic shades, including some of the rarest ones from decades ago. Notably, we're seeing the return of the iconic grey on grey, orange on orange, and the grass green box logo hoodies. Let's take a moment to revisit some of the snapshots of the original pieces and a little bit of a throwback. So yeah, those are the hoodies that are coming back. I'm assuming that green one's going to be very popular. I'm assuming that color block one's going to be very popular. I'm assuming the navy with the red box logo is also going to be very popular, as is the grey and the pink. But let's continue, courtesy of Drops DG. This week, notably, we're seeing so these are the big ones I think that Drops DG say are going to be the more rarer ones to get a hold of. That orange one is really hard, isn't it? I'm not going to lie. That orange one is very, very hard, isn't it? I might have to try and get that. Oh, look what they've got actually. I don't know if they're doing this on purpose going forward, but it looks like on the hood, they've got the dates now. So I wonder if they're going to do this going forward, so you can kind of have an idea on where your hoodie's from year-wise. So they're going to have the dates embroidered on the top of the hoodie. So it's got 2024 there, written or embroidered in white stitching. So you got the green on green box logo, which kind of reminds me of Tyler the Creator era back in the day. You got the grey on grey, which reminds me of, you know, old school, you know, Supreme, maybe the 90s, early 2000s, when they had loads of stores opening up in Japan. And then you got this orange one, which I don't really remember releasing back in the day. My knowledge of box logos isn't the greatest. I think I've got way more knowledge of Supreme when it comes to like outerwear and stuff, but not really box logos. The original Supreme orange one released in 1998, 2001. Wow, look, that's actually an original one too. Look how different the box logo and the print looks on there as well. So it's a bit janky and whatever, but that looks definitely really cool. That's an actual vintage one, released in 1998, 2000. You've got the grey on grey one that released in 2003. There's the grey on grey box logo crew neck also. You've got the grass one that released in 2005 as well in green. That's coming out soon, so I'm definitely going to be trying to get a pair of those when they drop. In the US, there's an in-store sign-up option, because I guess they know the queues are going to be crazy. People are going to be fighting in the streets. They're going to be fucking shootings and stabbings. So they've got an in-store registration process that you can be a part of if you go on the website and type in register.supremenewyork.com. You'll be able to register there before the actual thing releases. And also there's some pictures here of people, I'm assuming it's associated with Supreme, maybe Supreme staff members, wearing some of the box logos going to be dropping. This is a lady wearing the pink box logo, absolutely hard, although she looks kind of scary because she's got beat up black Air Force Ones. You know, a girl that wears beat up black Air Force Ones should not to be messed with, but the pink does look fucking hard. I'm not gonna lie, that's a very, very nice shade. Another person wearing the pink hoodie. You've got somebody is that the white one? I think that might be the white one. Somebody wearing the white box logo hoodie. There's a person wearing the grey as well there. The white one looks really cool. White with the red box logo. Then you've also got the grey on grey colorway, which I'm not mad about. I'm a little bit picky when it comes to hoodies. I usually always take off the fucking drawstrings. I'm not too sure if you guys are the same, but I don't really like the drawstrings on hoodies. I usually always take them off. Here's another picture with the white one as well. Oh, the white one looks fucking hard, isn't it? The white, I guess it's white, or maybe like an ivory color. Maybe like it's an ivory off-white kind of color. RIP flipping Virgil. Let's continue here, and then we got another picture of some staff members wearing the color block box logo. The color block version looks also really hard too. I'm not gonna lie, that color block version looks really fucking hard. So you've got the brown sleeves, red box logo, green, blue on the hood. Yeah, I like that. It's almost like a Christmassy one, isn't it? It's almost like a Christmassy, winter affair, Santa Claus kind of affair type of vibe there. But yeah, loving it regardless. Dropping this Thursday. Keep an eye out. Keep an eye out. According to Drops GG, here's some of the more hyped colorways. The hyped colorways being the gray. Is it? Yeah. Oh shit. Really? They're saying orange is not gonna be as hyped. So they're saying maybe the most hyped would be gray on gray, navy on blue, and also pink on pink. Okay, and there's also a black on black colorway too. But okay, I'm gonna try and get a pair anyway. I'm gonna try and get one, sorry, not a pair. I'm gonna try and get a size. Maybe if I'm actually in Berlin as well on Friday, so maybe I might pop by the Supreme store in Berlin and see if they might actually have one. I doubt it, but you never know. There's also news here courtesy Supreme regarding Supreme and SOREL. Maybe one of the worst footwear collaborations I've seen for Supreme in a while. I'm not gonna lie, maybe because I'm just not a fan of SOREL boots in general, but Jesus Christ, these look awful in my personal opinion. But this is like SOREL is a line of cold weather boots originally established in 1962 in Ontario, Canada. Supreme has worked with SOREL as a custom version of this caribou boot. The boot features a waterproof leather upper with a seam sealed waterproof construction, handcrafted waterproof vulcanized rubber shell, and an outsole, and a removable washable recycled felt inner boot with faux shirling pile soft cuff, the debossed logo on the side, and a printed logo in the inner boot. Made exclusive for Supreme, the caribou boot will be offered in 2 colorways, released on December 12th. So on top of the box logos, you're also going to be able to purchase some of these boots. I wonder who's going to be able, imagine the fucking L you're going to have to take if you rock up to Supreme wanting to buy the box logo, but you can't buy it because it's all sold out, so you have to settle for these fucking horrible boots. Like, what a big L. It kind of reminds me of the time I went to Bape back in the day to try and buy, I think like maybe a Coors Chomper Varsity, and they were all sold out, and then the only thing I could buy was sellotape. I bought fucking Bape sellotape for like £20, I don't know, maybe it might be £50, a roll of like pink camo sellotape. Absolutely ridiculous. But anyway, this is it, courtesy of Supreme. The SOREL boot comes in camo. You got a camo color, horrendous for me. There's an all black color as well, so they come in black, all black, and also the camo color. I don't know, man, they look so fucking horrendous. I hate them. Maybe the original ones are good, the brown ones that they have, right, with the duck boots, but these sort of like black, maybe the black could work, but nah, not for me, man. These are, especially the camo, they look so bad. Maybe it's because of how plasticky they look, innit? Maybe that's a problem. But yeah, I don't like them at all. They look horrendous, bro. They look so fucking ugly. Got some nice Supreme logo branding here and on the back. But yeah, maybe this is the thing I also respect about Supreme. They don't always do the cool, nice kind of collabs. They sometimes just do stuff kind of self-indulgently, so that's kind of cool. And also, most likely someone's going to copy them. Someone's going to come through, copy them, and want to do the same thing. So you can't really hate on that too much. But Jesus Christ, they look disgustingly bad. They look so bad, man. So awful, so bad. So awful, so bad. What else is going on there? So yeah, so big up Supreme. Check them out if you want to check them out. Available this Thursday. Don't delay if you want a pair. Don't delay if you want a pair. And then we're going to move on quickly to a couple more things before I have to bounce. So we've got here one post, particularly courtesy of Hypebeast, regarding JD's 2024 Christmas campaign. Again, I'm not really too fussed about JD. I'm just happy that JD Sports are embracing the kids coming up, especially some of these young influencers, content creators, and they're using them as part of their campaigns now. I remember there was a time when I was growing up where JD Sports weren't really embracing the kids online who are doing bits and pieces, right? They were just kind of using a lot of models unnecessarily and not really tapping into the people on the streets, on the ends, who are wearing a lot of the stuff from JD and making it what it was. So it's great to see JD kind of utilizing some of the content creators out there and kind of pushing them and making them, you know, wear whatever the stuff meant to be wearing here. You've got here featuring a campaign that features Central C, a few other UK people, notable people here wearing some Nike Tech fleeces and whatever, maybe tracksuits that you know them to have. There's Maya Jama also situated there, who I don't think is I don't think she's the best person to kind of push JD Sports, but still she's very famous and very popular in the UK, so it makes sense why they're using her. There's also, I forget who's that, I think that's Chunks as well, who's there, is also in that featured there. And a few other people. I think these are also people that he's also done contact with. I forgot their names. These guys, I think he did actually a show with these guys before Philly got arrested and shit. You've got also Paddy as well. He's here with these kids doing something with JD Sports as well, which is pretty cool, wearing Under Armour. You've got, is that Trent? Yeah, got Trent Alexander-Arnold here also featured, which is pretty cool. So yeah, I'm not mad at it. I like it, man. I like that they're embracing the youth, embracing the kids, and basically using the people that kind of make the brand what it is, very famous, and kind of giving back to the community in some weird shape or way. Here's a video of it as well, courtesy of JD Sports, the family portrait JD Sports Christmas. Let's watch this quickly.
You guys should. Hey, let me in, man.
Come through, man. Come through.
What are you doing in my seat?
Yeah, you took time with your long time.
What are you laughing at?
Why stop? Going to work now. You behave, okay?
This is pretty cool. Who filmed this?
Bye.
Central C, nice. This is pretty cool. London, UK, stand up.
Oh, cranberry and chicken.
Where do you think you're going?
Go nothing.
This is really cool. I'm not gonna lie, this is really fucking cool. I love the vibe of this. I love the vibe of this, man. Love it.
Salt and pepper chicken, yeah. Thank you. Family means everything to me.
So sweet.
It's love of the people everywhere.
Yeah, big up JD Sports, man. Honestly, it's cool to see, man. This is definitely a new time, a new generation. Things have definitely changed. In days gone by, this would have been incredibly difficult for prominent UK people to get a hold, especially quote-unquote urban non-white people. So it's good to see them tapping into those type of people. And inevitably, you'd imagine this sort of stuff would actually end up helping them sell more tracksuits and making the brand more popular, even maybe pushing more kids to go and work there. Because, you know, maybe now it's become a little bit of an aspirational place to go work because you want discounts to be able to get tech suits and Nike Air Maxes and stuff. Even though everything is always like, you know, one of the criticisms I have about JD Sports is that all their offerings are always black, navy and grey. As you can see, courtesy of this picture, there's not really much of, there's not really much color in what JD Sports offer, but still, for what it is, it's not a bad place to be. You can get all your fucking sportswear needs, service in one place. Not shabby, not shabby. So big up JD Sports. You love to see it. You love to see it. Moving on, we also got this courtesy of Hypebeast regarding the hundreds. The hundreds, catch 'em all in the new Pokemon capsule. I've not spoken about the hundreds in many years. I was obsessed with the hundreds when I was coming up. It was kind of like one of my first streetwear brands I kind of got obsessed with. Maybe the hundreds, 10 Deep, Stussy Supreme, Diamond Co Supply, Half back in the day. I can't think of a couple others, maybe obviously Bape and shit, but I used to love the hundreds back in the day. I used to fucking love them, obsess over them, would fight people on Hypebeast forums back in the day about them, but over time, you know, they kind of lost their way. But if I'm not mistaken, I think Bobby Hundreds has kind of taken a bit of a back seat, I think, and I think they've employed an actual creative director who now does a lot of the stuff for them. I think I read that somewhere. I'm not sure if that's true, but I remember reading that somewhere that Bobby Hundreds isn't that involved in designing the hundreds anymore as he was maybe in the past. A lot of it is done by whoever the new creator. Yeah, see, there we go. See, the new 100 creative director, whose name is David Rivera. So they've got a new creative director. So I'm not sure if Bobby Hundreds is now doing his own stuff, or if he's doing a particular line, because, you know, the hundreds have different lines and collections, maybe. But it does look like they're steering in a direction of trying to evolve the hundreds, because I feel like the hundreds had, you know, they were kind of disrespected back in the day, but I feel like a lot of it came because the designs kind of felt very dated and very, you know, cringy, and maybe he didn't have a lot of like shelf life. So maybe now getting this new guy involved, he can kind of reinvigorate the brand and kind of get it kickstarted. Hopefully, you'd hope so. Fingers crossed. And they deserve, I think, to have a reinvigoration the same way Stussy did. I think so. I want to see the hundreds have a same Stussy reinvigoration, but they need to do it obviously with a new creative director. This new Pokemon collection might be part of it. Personally, I'd wear the fuck out of the hat. I'm not gonna lie, I'd wear the Ash Ketchum snapback hat in a heartbeat. I'm sure it's gonna be one of the most popular pieces in here. But they've got a bunch of stuff in his collections. You see here cardigans, t-shirts, cargo pants. Maybe we might see Dr. Martin collabs as well. That might be a Dr. Martin collab there with a Jaden boot. So there's a bunch of stuff included in here. You see tie-dye t-shirts. You see again good cargo pants, which I like the look of. You got these almost like insulated flannel type t-shirts. You got the big R t-shirt. Yeah, nice shirts, nice tops, jeans, Converses. So yeah, some good stuff. The lookbook itself I'm not really the biggest fan of, but I think the clothing pieces are pretty decent. There's a Charizard tie-dye t-shirt here that I'd probably wear the fuck out of, I'm not gonna lie. There's a Charizard black hoodie that I'd wear the hell out of with some flame iconography on the sleeves. I'd wear the fuck out of this. Very, very infantile, very immature, I know, but I'd wear the hell out of this, I'm not gonna lie. Another hundreds t-shirt here, looks pretty cool, nice design. There's a Mew. Oh, is that a Mewtwo? Whatever that Pokemon was, I forgot that Pokemon name, but that's a fucking cool. That's a t-shirt, actually, not even a hoodie. That's pretty nice as well. Nice, another more Pokemon t-shirts, nice cargo pants with the hundreds iconography. There's a cargo. Oh, that's actually that green jean that he's wearing is actually really nice. This oversized jean. Or this pant, this green one is really nice because it's got this really nice Adam Bomb embroidery on the back pocket, and it's also, I feel like, a little bit, it's a little bit baggy and a little bit cut differently in terms of the hem at the bottom. You've also got this really cool t-shirt. Yeah, I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it in the slightest. I definitely wear the fuck out of this. I definitely wear the fuck out of this and feel like a kid again. But yeah, this Ash Ketchum, the hundreds hat, is definitely something that will definitely need to be copped sometime in the near time future. So big up the hundreds, big up the hundreds, big up the hundreds. And obviously before we leave, I quickly wanted to also mention, there is an update courtesy on Berghain regarding the January lineup that I need to quickly go over here before I bounce and get onto other things here. So the January lineup for Berghain has finally been released. Obviously I'm still looking forward to going on Friday for the 25th birthday party, so I can't wait to go, can't flipping wait. But obviously Berghain making sure that we all are emptying our wallets and our pockets and making sure that we're aware that there's still other things going on, and one of them primarily being the New Year's Eve. So there's a Sylvester New Year's Eve party starting on the 1st. Oh shit, I forgot. Yeah, it's on the 1st, isn't it? So it's a really strange lineup. It's not as stacked as the 20th birthday party, so because I guess the 20th birthday party is falling too close to the New Year's Eve celebration. So the 20th birthday party has a much bigger lineup than the New Year's Eve birthday or the New Year's Eve extravaganza, which is running from the Wednesday. Weirdly enough, it's not going to be on Friday, Saturday. So Berghain's opening on the Wednesday. For the 1st of January, they've got following people playing. They've got Absolute, Altin Bass, Chammy, Elissa B, GGFM, Jessie G, Kaiser, Norback, Philippa Pasho, and Stojgi playing in the Berghain main room. And then, actually, who's Stojgi? Is that the person with the mask? I don't recognize that person's name. Is that the guy that has the mask on? Oh no, I thought it was somebody else. I thought it was that EDM guy that has a mask. I thought that's what his name was, Stojki or Stoji. Okay, it's somebody else. Okay, cool. So big up this person, Stoji. So congrats to you. Playing at Berghain during the thing. The Sylvester New Year's Eve event, pretty decent lineup. Then you've got Christian AB, one of my favorite tech house, deep house, minimal people coming up right now. He's fucking awesome. So I recommend if ever you need to, I wouldn't say, you know, it's bad to compare people to other people, but if you are looking for like the next generation of like really great kind of like, you know, Seth Troxler-esque type of level guys coming up, I think Christian AB is definitely in that category. He's fucking hard. Really, really fucking good. He plays with another guy too. I forgot his name. They sometimes go back to back. Another kind of light skinned mixed race dude who's also really hard, but his name escapes me, so please forgive me. But Christian AB is super, super good. So seeing him in Panorama Bar will be amazing. There's a person called Jason Kending playing, who I don't really familiar with. Lucas Deepat. There's Marie Moxteria, big up her. You know, I'm a big fan of her, so she's playing also Panorama Bar. That'll be sick. You got Mike Starr, and in the year great again, somebody that's kind of benefited a lot from the early success of his whole set and is still shining and doing great things. So big up Mike Starr, great to see him on there. You got Victor, Violetta, Wallace, Yarmore, and Zombies in Miami. Wow, Zombies in Miami. Oh, I would really want to see them play, man. I've never ever, I always miss an opportunity to see these motherfuckers play. An amazing duo. I'ma say, what would I say? I would say they're kind of like electro, disco, synth poppy vibes, like really fucking good. Really, I don't know if they're Mexican, right? I think they might be Mexican. Don't know if they're couple or not, or brother and sister, who knows, but it doesn't fucking matter. But they are incredible, and I always miss seeing them. But I recommend you check out Zombies in Miami. They're fucking incredible. Some great mixes out there that you can listen to, so definitely check them out. And then they've got in the XXX room, which is one of my favorite rooms. Unfortunately, this room isn't open during the 20th birthday party, which is really annoying. But this is one of my favorite rooms. It's a really crazy room that looks like something out of a Y2K fucking, you know, hacker movie thing. It's got a really the DJs are in like a cage. So you have to go up. The DJs are like above you in a cage. They've got these boxes that you can stand on. There's like speakers hanging off of chains. There's massive platforms. It's the best room. It's better than Berghain, better than Panorama Bar. In my opinion, it's the best room in Berghain. It's absolutely incredible. So I recommend you go there just for that room itself. In this room, you got Bell Towers playing, Chris Cruz, DJ Saburu, Hara Kataski. Or Hara Katskiski, is that how you spell it? Katskiski? Luigi De Vervini, Miri Mamor, Oma, and someone called Shubu Star. So that's happening for the first event on the January. So definitely check that out if you're there inclined. If I recover in time, maybe there's opportunity I might go. If I recover in time, go again for the Sylvester. That'd be fucking crazy, but you never know. Let's see what'll go on. Then we've got a Live from Earth event happening. Again, crazy. Look at who's on the list. Live from Earth Club. Look who's playing at fucking Berghain. Never say anything is impossible. Look at who's playing at Berghain. Chippy fucking Nonstop. Saturday the 4th of January 2025. She's playing in the main room, bro. Chippy Nonstop playing on the Berghain sound system, you know. Fucking wild. Never say anything is impossible. So big up her. Amazing opportunity, I guess. Wow, like I can't wait to read the reviews of her set when she does play there. But Jesus Christ, man, big up Chippy Nonstop. Cynthia Spearing is playing, DJ Gigola, MCRT, Modeleska, MDRD, Pablo Boozy, one of my favorite DJs who unfortunately I'm not seeing play at fucking the birthday party or at the fucking, you know, Sylvester. I hope he gets more gigs coming up this year. I feel like I've never really seen him at Berghain often, but Pablo Boozy is amazing. Theo B3K and someone called Vanille. That's a pretty decent night. There's Arthur Robot playing on 10th for the 5th. There's a Finest Friday happening with DJ P, one of my favorites again. Willow, Head High, and Elkie. There's another event happening here with Ben Clock, LOL Snake, which I'm a big fan of. Cynthia. This is actually a pretty decent lineup as well. Actually, this one on the 11th. Ben Clock, Inox Tracks, LOL Snake, Nastia Rigel, Norman Nodge, Roman Flugel, Rod Had, and then Panorama Bar you got Cynthia, Ed Davenport, Handmade, Ivan Smaggy, Kirid, Mbak Mecca, Ogazon, and someone called Shakolin. And then on Thursday you've got an Anna Maulo, Oton, VP Allowed. Finest Friday, you got Fred P playing. That's gonna be sick. Let's see who else is going to be playing here. So it's a pretty understated January. I'm assuming because they blew their load for the fucking birthday party and the New Year's, but it's a pretty chill January. A lot of more, I guess, local or kind of like people who kind of haven't got a lot of gigs over the last few months playing specifically, which will be good for the people who are going to be going. And it probably will be a better reflection on what Berghain is like if you did go in these sort of months, like the months I'm going in, let's say December, January, February and shit. They're kind of outside of the tourist months, and it's also freezing cold, so definitely make sure you wrap up warm. And let's see what other else is on here. You've got a night here on the 25th that features Arcan, Fidel, Isabel Soto, Mary Lake, Perfo, Faith Fatale. On Panorama Bar, you got Amotech, Shez Damir. Oh, big up Shez Damir, one of the greatest producers of all time. Isabel, Jana Falcon, Kiki Lomo, Marcel Dietman, Roy. Oh, this might be one of the best Panorama Bar lineups in a while. Roy Perez, Marcel Dietman, Kiki Lemo, Jana Falcon, I don't really know, Isabella, who I know, Shez Damir and Amotech, incredible. And then you've also got Permanent Vacation Night happening with Lineker, Benjamin Froelich, DJ City, Maze, Road and Brown, and Rosa Red. So a little bit more of an understated, less hypey January, but still some good nights here to go to. Obviously, I'd recommend the Sylvester on a Wednesday. I would also recommend, just for the fucking lols, to go to Live from Earth and just see what Chippy Nonstop's going to be doing in Berghain. That she also might kill it, you never know. I would also recommend you probably check out, which one I was recommend as well. I recommend also you check out this one, the Saturday the 11th. I think that's a really good night. Symphy, Ed Davenport, Handmade, Ivan Smagul, Karen N. Baumeka, Orgazon, and Shakolin. I think I'd just stay in fucking in Panorama Bar and maybe just see Rod Had play in Berghain. And then I'd also recommend you probably go to the one on the 25th as well. So some good nights in January, Big up Berghain as per usual. Anyways, my friends, that's it from me. That has been it. That has been the Agostinho Zinga Show, episode number 842. Thank you so much for tuning in. As usual, it's been a pleasure. Never flipping a chore. For those of you listening to the audio podcast, you will hear my tune of the day under my voice playing very, very softly. My tune of the day today is going to be a tune by the wonderful Kim Deal. The track is called Wish I Was, from the album Nobody Loves You More, which came out I think last week. So definitely go and check it out. An amazing fucking album. Super good. Kim Deal, Wish I Was is my tune of the day, playing underneath my voice today. Make sure you check out Kim Deal. She's fucking amazing. Click the like underneath the video if you're watching it live. Leave me a 5-star review on the podcast app, please, if you can. Email links are in the description as well. Links to all my socials are in the description as well. And I'll see you guys again very, very soon. And for those of you waiting for the random show, I'll be with you in about 5 to 10 minutes. Thank you for hanging out with me. I'll see you guys again very soon. Thank you for checking out the random show. No, the Agostinho Zinga Show, the random show. And I'll see you guys again for the random show in about 5 to 10 minutes. For everyone else, take care, be safe. Peace.